for joining for today's podcast. With me is Emily Pyke, who is an auto mechanic out of Ontario. Could you please tell us a little bit about yourself?
Of course. My name is Emily Pyke, and as mentioned, I'm an automotive service technician at Hefner Lexus in Kitchener, Ontario. So a little bit further from you. I'm also a mentor with Skills Ontario, where I usually speak on a panel with other women and share my story and experiences in order to promote the trades and bring more awareness to the trades, specifically women in the trades, but whatever. And I'm also the owner, creator of Featuring Inspiring Women, a online community which features tradeswomen, very much like Trailblazers, except ours is pretty much written at the moment. Most of them are written online. Yeah, that's me.
That's exciting. Yeah. And why not get into podcasts, right? Live ones, right? There's so many of us, and there's never a story that would ever be missed, right? I mean, if you're sharing stories and I'm sharing stories, we could just feed off of each other, right? To do that sharing. I think women working together to bring women up is what we're all about. So
Absolutely.
yeah, it's so nice to share, and I'm going to share my story on yours, and you're sharing your story on mine, so works perfectly.
Yes.
So thank you very much for doing that.
Oh, thank
Now,
you.
how did you get started in the trades?
So I started in high school, actually. I moved to a different town, away from all of my friends and bad teenage decisions that I was making. And so in this new town, they offered automotive courses a year earlier than my previous high school. So I was like, oh, that sounds like fun, and it's way better than drama or something that I'm not good at, art, something like that. So, and it would be helpful to know how to work on my own car one day. So I decided to take this automotive course. And from the minute I walked into that shop, I was in love with the atmosphere, the smell, the dirt, the sounds, the swearing, like everything. I was in love with the shop. And I ended up getting 99% in that class.
Oh my God, so you're
Yeah.
kicking butt early on. That is great. Good for you.
Yeah, grade 10. It was the highest mark I've ever gotten in anything in my entire life. And the teacher pulled me aside at the end and he was like, this is the highest mark I've ever given, and it will probably be one of the highest marks I'll ever see. So I really hope you continue with this.
Oh,
And
that's perfect. You need a plaque on the wall of that school.
yes, I've been trying. One day they'll put a statue somewhere.
Maybe you could make your own statue. Maybe we can work on something for you
Yes,
there.
I love this. This is a great idea.
Yes,
um,
that's fantastic.
So from there, I eventually went back to my original high school and I continued with automotive courses there. And I'm a teen mom. I had my daughter when I was 16, so I had to switch schools again. And I went to a school that allowed me to bring my daughter with me. And
Wow, that's cool.
yeah, so I did like English and whatever other math, whatever was necessary for grade 12 with my daughter on my lap. And then for the last semester of grade 12, I did a double co-op in a local shop in Guelph. And that was pretty much my deciding factor that like, oh, okay, so it's not just the schooling part of it that I love. I also love being around all the guys out in the real world, working in this shop. So I immediately started applying to like dealerships and shops in the area because I didn't really know what way I wanted to go. Dealerships are more like posh, and mom and pop shops are more like, I don't know, do whatever you want type thing, work on whatever. So I chose dealership life so that I could have like okay, I only work on Toyotas at the moment. And once I get a better knowledge of Toyotas, then it'll be easier to learn more makes and models that way. So I started working in a shop after school. I would leave my co-op placement and go to work at my dealership. And when I graduated high school, they hired me on full time, and I have not left the shop since then. So I started literally right in high school and have not stopped.
That is incredible. So how long have you been in the trade then? I mean, I don't want to give your age away because that kind of does, but that's a great story. But how long have you been in the trades now?
7 years.
That's
7 years.
fantastic, isn't it?
Yeah.
That is so awesome. So awesome. Oh my God. I wish I would have started sooner. That's one of my only regrets is not starting. I mean, it wasn't offered to me in high school. And look at you. I mean, and your whole life is going to be
Yeah.
doing something that you love. I mean, how lucky is that, right? You didn't have to go waitressing like I did for years and years and years.
I almost wish I had, though, taken some time just
You
to
think?
do something else. I don't know. It's a love hate. I honestly started working in a bar overnight at one point because I just needed like a change, but I didn't want to give up my love of automotive, but I needed something else, something besides just like work and home and being a mom full time because I've been a single mom for quite a few years. I needed something else, and I'm not going to go out and party at the bars, so I worked at them for a little bit, for about
Yeah.
3 months, and then I was like, okay, this isn't for me. I'm tired.
That's like safe socializing, right? Safe socializing where you're not drinking, but you're meeting people and you're, out there. That
Yeah,
was a good idea. But another thing about the trades too, and when you're saying about, wishing you had done other things, what I like about the trades too is that it does open a lot of doors. Like I'm an instructor, you could get into being an instructor, right? You could get into supervision, you could own your own shop one day. Like there's so many options that you have once you're involved in the trades, right? So yeah, just wait till the life of being a single mom settles down a little bit, just like me, and then you can start exploring some other things, right? Because your two little ones are fairly young yet,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Not that you
Seven
need
and
to
seven
talk
and
about them,
4.
but yeah, yeah. So you've got a long journey yet, right? Mine's 17, mine's almost out the door. So I get to go and do other things now. He doesn't need me as much as yours still need you, right?
Yeah,
Isn't life funny, hey?
I would love to get into like being an instructor. I want to explore everything, and that's my biggest issue is that now that I'm a licensed mechanic, now I kind of want to look at working on motorcycles and maybe switch it up and get another certification or become like an ATV technician or just something else to get under my belt because I honestly I love learning constantly. So I want to know
Yeah.
everything. And that's the other benefit to talking to all these women in the trades is that like I get to live through them. Like, yes, explain, like I had you do earlier, like explain what welding is. What do you do? What did you have to do to become that? Like I live through these women and it's amazing.
Isn't it? Isn't it really amazing to explore the trades and learn all about everything that's going on? But yeah, like I said, there's a lot that you could do, but like you said, working on motorcycles, how cool would that be? Or getting, yeah, becoming an instructor, you can do that easily, right? You could teach and being a female instructor, I think, because I've done it off and on over the years, I think it's really critical for us to become female instructors because then it gets everybody in that classroom used to seeing women in the trades right away,
Yeah.
right? I mean, your instructor's female, so get used to seeing them on the job sites as well, right? So yeah, no, you could do it. You could definitely do it.
I definitely would. If an opportunity popped up right now, I would probably tell my workplace I'll be back in a couple of days or weeks. And luckily my employers are actually they're super amazing and they let me do random things like that. Like they probably wouldn't even hesitate. They'd be like, "Okay, Emily, go, go. It's not tire season. You can take some time."
Is tire season busy? I don't even
Yeah.
know.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Well, everybody needs their winter tires switched on or off. It's a
Yeah.
madhouse, especially winter tire season. So when you're putting your winter tires on, because as soon as the first snowflake falls, that's when everybody's like, "Oh my God, I forgot about my winter tires," and all of a sudden you're stuck working 14-hour days, and all you're doing is lugging tires around all day.
Yeah, yeah. So you know what I'm gonna just throw out there is that maybe you could teach like a basic mechanics course to women, maybe on the evenings or weekends. And that's, you could be helping women, maybe bring women into your trade and teaching and still working, doing what you're doing. Just for throwing it out there.
I have been thinking about it, and as laid back as my employers are, I don't know if they would let me use my shop. So that's the only.
You know where I used to teach when I first started teaching? Excuse me. I started teaching at the local college where I took my trade, my training. So wherever you took your training, maybe, anyways, just a suggestion, just a little thought. I'll plant that seed. You do what you want with it. Anyways, my next question for you is, how far have you explored your trade? Because now you're talking about trying other stuff, right?
So not well, I mean, far enough. I've stayed with Toyota Lexus for the most part. Actually, exactly. I started at a Toyota dealership and then I moved to Lexus in Kitchener. So I haven't strayed very far, staying in the family, the Toyota family. Um, but every car, every engine is pretty much the same. So I drive a Hyundai, so that comes in the shop and it's the exact same thing. I'm also working towards my master hybrid certification, which is like the top technical. It's pretty much like that's the highest level. That's where your training pretty much ends. I'm almost there. I'm so close, but COVID messed up my last couple courses to getting
Um,
that. Yeah, there's no new dates available for the last couple courses, unfortunately, and it's driving me nuts because I have like my how does it go? Lexus certified tech and then pro tech and just missing the one more. I have the one empty space. It's driving me crazy.
what's the favorite aspect of your trade?
I think the variety of work, definitely just
Yeah.
I mean, I never work on the same thing twice. Well, I do, but like not back to back. So, I mean, right now, sitting on my bay waiting for me in the morning, lucky me, is a huge electrical diagnosis. So, there's no communication with half of the systems in the car. So, tomorrow morning, I'm going to I'm going to rip this car apart, find the problem, and fix it. And then immediately after, I called an axle seal today. So I ordered parts and that will be here tomorrow morning. So I'm going to go from electrical diagnosis to smashing in a axle seal. And yeah, it'll be great. Very different, constantly changing it up, never doing the same thing, like back to back. It's not like I get bored or anything.
So what obstacles have you overcome along the way?
Um, I've gotten a little bit of pushback from, other people not so much wanting women in the trades, which I mean, really not into that. And that's when my attitude comes out quite a bit. So
Yeah.
specifically, like one of my employers paid me $1 less just because, well, I'm going to say just because I was a woman, but they say because I wasn't working hard enough.
What? That's
Yeah.
yeah, that's not okay.
So that would be one obstacle that, I mean, it was tough to overcome, but you you do it. You fight tooth and nail. I know you said that, you haven't really had any pushback. I'm sure there have been like a few instances, but I mean, that was probably the worst for me. I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah. Yeah. And
Like
I
you
definitely would
can't
be the
do
same
that.
way myself. Absolutely. That's not okay. That's not okay at all. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the pushback there, I mean, I've come across pushback here and there along the way. It's true, right? And especially being the first woman on a job site, it's challenging because they're not used to having a woman here, on their job site, and what are we going to do with you kind of thing, right? And what bathroom do we let you use? And do we let you use the locker room that we're using? And, what about gloves that don't fit and things like that, right? Like sometimes there's just things that happen and they have to deal with it and you just move on, right? But
Yeah.
yeah, there's yeah, and people like you and I are paving the way for the generation behind us. And anytime I do find something that is really frustrating, I just that's just the way I look at it. It's like, well, if I deal with this now, then the next generation hopefully won't have to, right?
Yeah.
So kudos to you and me, I suppose.
Yeah.
Did you have other women that you could look to for support along the way?
Unfortunately, no, actually. I didn't know any women in the trades at all. And throughout my entire career so far, I've always been the only woman in the shop. So at my last place, there was, my God, like 20 of us, and I was the only woman. And at one point, we had like a girl come in for a little bit, but she only lasted like a month, so it doesn't count, I don't think, because I don't think she stuck
No,
with the trade or anything. Um,
really, yeah.
but yeah, other than that, like I didn't know any women in the trades. I've had a couple of girlfriends from high school that have, one of them went into construction and another one is an aviation technician for the military. And I mean, like cool shit like that. But when I was growing up and in grade 10, 11, 12, and I decided that this is what I wanted to do, I didn't know any other women in the trade. So that's another really important reason that I created this featuring inspiring women community, is because all of these women are willing to have people reach out to them and ask questions and figure out if this is a trade that they want to do. So, I mean,
Creating a community for other women to reach out to each other, right? Because you didn't
yeah,
have anybody to support. And I think that's really, and you and I have talked about that too, that when you can reach out to other women in the trade, it just helps support you and perhaps bring more in, right? Because you can actually see them, hear their stories, see their photos, read about them, whatever it is. And I think it's really important for all of us to share our stories in order to inspire others to join, right? Or
yeah,
show support. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. So what does a day in your life look like? Busy, I bet.
Oh my God, so busy. Actually, I get up at 4:30 in the morning every day, and that's so that I can get up and have my coffee in peace and silence before my children get up at 5:30. Um, and then we're out the door by 6 a.m. Like cars running, we're pulling out of the parking lot by 6:01. Get the kids to daycare situated where they need to be, and then I have like a 25-minute drive into work. So I'm in Guelph, and Kitchener is like 25 minutes, depending on traffic. And then I usually get there around like 6:45 and get my computer set up and yeah, start at 7 and work until 4. Yeah, so 9 hour days. 9 hour days. They're pretty long days, especially when you're
Yeah,
lugging tires all day.
yeah.
Uh,
Uh, yeah, and then you swing by and pick the kids up and go home and do the supper thing. Turn back into a parent, I used to always say, right? I bet.
yes, well, I do my best, but like we talked about earlier, the shop talk follows me sometimes.
That's
And
okay. Colorful
yeah,
language is all right. I'm okay with it.
it
My
makes it more
my son
interesting.
had colorful language too when he was little. Well, still does, of course. Now he's 17, more colorful than mine. But
Yeah. You're learning new words.
oh Oh yeah, yeah. I've heard bra or bro a whole lot more than I ever did when I was his age. But
Yeah.
yeah, definitely. And it's funny when you're a single mom in the trades or a parent in the trade. I used to always say, well, like when for me, you put your welding hat on when you get to work, take off your welding hat, put your mom hat back on at the end of the day, and then when I was dating or married or whatever, I put my spouse hat back on, and then I put my sister hat on or my daughter hat. We just wear all these hats, right? And it's
Yeah,
sometimes it's a bit much to juggle them all, but we do it. We do it day after day after day after day, and it's a busy life. It's a good life though, right?
it is. I like to tell people that I thrive on chaos, and that's why my life is just so busy. I keep my days so filled.
Yes, yes. I don't know if I thrive on chaos, but yes, my days are really full too. I think it's the age right now that I'm ready for like a month off of sitting on a beach somewhere, which is not going to happen in Alberta anytime soon. It's still snowing. It snowed yesterday morning here, so I'm
Ooh,
nowhere
oh
ready
my
for beach,
God.
but yeah, yeah, good times, good times.
Yeah,
So
keep it there.
yeah, yeah, I don't even
Don't
want it
send
here.
it this
Keep
way.
it in the mountains. Yeah, don't even bring it my way. Anyways, do you have any advice for others that may be looking to join the trades?
Number one and foremost, reach out to a woman in your trades, or I guess anyone really, anyone in the trade that you're looking to get into, and fire off all of your questions just to find out if it is for you. I mean, I know I would be willing to have someone ask me questions. I'd FaceTime them. I'd even invite them to the shop for a day or a couple of hours just to see if, they like the environment and if they like the noise and the swearing and the dirtiness. So I
Yeah,
think that is probably the best piece of advice is just like, you need to realize that there are people out here that are willing to help you and they don't want you to get into something if you don't like it. There's so many different trades. If you decide that, mechanics aren't for you, reach out to a welder or a machinist or a millwright. Um,
yeah,
you have so many options, and especially kids nowadays with social media, you can find literally anybody just by searching it.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's
so true. No, that's great advice. That's really great advice. Yeah, we're always willing to share our stories, right? I don't know too many tradespeople that don't want to talk about their trade. So, final remarks are yours.
if you want to go into the trades, don't let anything stop you. You have the resources to do whatever you want to do, and this is your life. So grab it by the balls.
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, don't be afraid for sure. That's great. That's great final remarks. Yeah, well, thank you so much for doing the podcast with me, and thanks for sharing my story on your platform as well. It's I love it when we can do the back and forth, helping each other out. And
Yeah,
definitely feel free anytime. Reach out to me, and I will definitely keep you in mind for any panels because I know we've been on similar panels before.
yes,
I think we were even on the same panel at one point, weren't we?
I think
I
so.
think that's kind of how we met and then became LinkedIn connected and all of, the ball got rolling that way. But yeah, feel free to reach out. And if you're ever in Alberta, you have to find me. I mean, when all this COVID craziness is over, and
Oh,
we'll meet.
absolutely.
We'll go for a beer in Calgary. Thank you
Sounds
so
good.
much for doing this with me.
Well, thank you so much. I'm so glad you reached out.
Yeah, those connections, hey, it's paying off. Always
Yes,
paying off.
absolutely.
Okay, well, you take care and enjoy the rest of your day.
All right, thank you, you too.
Okay, bye now.
Bye.